Welcome to Famous People, English Stories. Ready to level up your English? Here we learn through stories slow, clear, and fun. Listen, relax, and enjoy the journey.
Introduction. Today, meet Emma, a girl just like you, who dreamed of speaking English easily and fluently. Follow her inspiring story as she faces challenges, discovers new ways to learn, and builds a community that changes lives. Chapter 1: The Dream Begins. Emma lived in a small, peaceful town where people spoke her native language every day. She was a bright, curious girl who loved learning. But one day, something inside her changed. It all started when Emma watched a video on her favorite app. It was a girl just like her, confident, smiling, and speaking perfect English with people from all over the world. Emma paused the video and whispered to herself, "I want to be like her." That night, Emma sat at her desk and wrote in her journal. Goal: speak English fluently. But there was a problem. Emma had tried before. She had read textbooks, watched boring grammar videos, and memorized long vocabulary lists. But when it came time to speak, her voice would shake. The words hid inside her mind, and her confidence disappeared. She felt stuck. The next morning, Emma made a decision. She would try again, but this time, she'd do it differently. No more boring rules. She wanted to feel the language, live the language. She would learn English like a real adventure. She started by changing her phone settings to English. At first, it was confusing. She couldn't find the camera or the alarm clock. But soon, those little English words began to feel normal. Then Emma did something bold. She walked into a bookstore and bought a short storybook in English for beginners. She read it slowly, sentence by sentence. She didn't understand every word, but she didn't give up. She wrote down new words and tried to guess their meanings from the pictures. And when she found a sentence she liked, she read it aloud, again and again, until it sounded smooth. One day, while reading in the park, a tourist came up to Emma. He looked lost. "Excuse me," he said, "do you know how to get to the train station?" Emma's heart pounded. Her hands were shaking. This was it, her first real English conversation. She took a deep breath and said, slowly, "Yes, go straight," then left at the big tree. The man smiled. "Thank you. Your English is very good." Emma smiled back, her face glowing. For the first time, she felt proud. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. That night, she called her best friend and shouted, "I spoke English today. With a real person." Her friend laughed and said, "Emma, that's amazing. You're really doing it." Emma couldn't sleep that night. Her dream was starting to come true. From that moment, everything changed. Emma started watching English cartoons and children's shows, easy to understand and full of fun words. She spoke to herself in the mirror. She even gave names to her plants in English: Daisy, Sunny, and Mr. Green. Learning became a game. She kept a notebook of funny phrases, new expressions, and small victories. Every time she learned something new, she gave herself a little star. Weeks passed. Emma's confidence grew. She joined a free online group where English learners chatted every weekend. At first, she only listened. But one day, she turned on her mic and said, "Hi, my name is Emma. I'm from a small town, and I want to speak English fluently." The group cheered. One member said, "Welcome, Emma. You're in the right place. Emma was nervous, but also happy. These people didn't judge her accent or grammar mistakes. They supported her. They laughed together, learned new words, and shared their dreams. For the first time in her life, Emma felt connected to the world. Every night, she wrote in her journal, "I'm learning. I'm improving. I'm proud." Emma knew she still had a long way to go. But she had started the journey. And that was the most important part. Because speaking English fluently isn't about being perfect. It's about being brave. And Emma was brave, braver than she ever thought she could be. Her story had just begun. Chapter 2: Mistakes, Motivation, and a Microphone. Emma woke up excited. Today was her first online English speaking challenge. The group she had joined last week had a simple rule: every Saturday, one member would speak for 2 minutes about their favorite topic. It could be anything: books, food, dreams, or even pets. Emma had practiced her short speech all week. She picked a topic she loved: baking cookies. She had written down her ideas, practiced in front of the mirror, and even recorded herself on her phone. But now, as she sat in front of the laptop, her hands were sweating. The clock ticked. 1 minute. 2 minutes. "Emma, you're next," the group leader said kindly. Emma froze. She looked at the screen. So many faces from different countries. People smiling, waiting. Some looked nervous like her. Others looked relaxed, sipping tea. Emma's heart beat fast. Her mouth felt dry. She thought, what if I make a mistake? What if they laugh at me? What if I forget my words? Then, suddenly, she remembered something. It was a quote from a video she watched earlier that week. Mistakes mean you're trying. Mistakes mean you're growing. She took a deep breath and clicked the mic icon. "Hello, everyone," she said, slowly but clearly. "My name is Emma, and I love baking cookies." There was a short pause. Then smiles. Nods. One person gave a thumbs up. Emma continued, "I started baking when I was 10 years old. My first cookies were very bad." She laughed, and others laughed too. "But now, I can bake chocolate chip, peanut butter, and even lemon cookies. My favorite is chocolate chip. They are sweet, soft, and warm like a hug." She looked up from her notes and smiled. "I hope one day we can eat cookies together." "Thank you." A small cheer filled the call. Someone clapped. Another person said, "Wow, Emma. That was so clear. I love cookies too." Emma muted her mic and felt like dancing. She had done it. She had spoken English in front of people from 5 different countries. She felt like a star. After the call, she got a message from one of the group members named Lila from Brazil. "You inspired me, Emma. I was afraid to speak, but now I will try too." Emma replied, "Let's make mistakes together and learn." That sentence became her new motto. Later that week, Emma went on a walk and practiced talking about everything she saw in English. "That's a yellow car. The sun is bright. I see a dog. The dog is happy." It felt silly, but also fun. And the more she did it, the more natural it felt. She also started something new: shadowing. Every evening, Emma picked a short English video with subtitles. She listened to one sentence, paused it, and repeated it exactly like the speaker. Voice, tone, rhythm. At first, she felt awkward. But after a few days, she noticed something amazing. Her English was becoming smoother. She wasn't just speaking words. She was speaking with feeling. Then, one rainy day, Emma's teacher announced a school project. Each student had to give a short presentation in English about a famous person. Emma panicked. Speak English in front of her whole class? But then, she remembered her online group. If she could speak to people from different countries, she could speak to her classmates. She chose to talk about Malala Yousafzai, the girl who fought for education. Emma admired her courage. And as she wrote her speech, she felt something growing inside her, confidence. The day of the presentation came. Emma stood in front of the class, holding her notes. Her legs were shaking. Her classmates looked at her, waiting. She began. Hello, my name is Emma. Today I want to tell you about a girl who is brave, strong, and believes in education. Her voice trembled at first. But as she spoke, it grew stronger. She shared Malala's story, her fight for girls' education, and how she inspired Emma to never give up. When she finished, the room was quiet. Then, applause. Her teacher said, "Emma, that was powerful and clear. Well done." After class, her friend whispered, "I didn't know you could speak English so well." Emma smiled. Me neither. But now I do. That night, Emma opened her journal and wrote, "I'm proud of my mistakes. I'm proud of my progress. I can speak English, and I will speak more." She looked at her small microphone, the one she used for the speaking group, and whispered, "Let's keep going." Because Emma had learned something important. Fluent English is not about using big words. It's about using your words with courage. And she was just getting started. Chapter 3, English Everywhere, Turning Life into a Language Lab. Emma was changing, and everyone around her noticed it. At school, she was the girl who used to stay quiet in English class. But now, she was the one helping others find the right words. At home, her little brother giggled when she spoke English to the cat. Even her mom started learning a few words, repeating after Emma while cooking dinner. One afternoon, Emma sat by her window with a cup of tea and a notebook. The sky was gray, and a light rain tapped on the glass. But inside her mind, something exciting was happening. She had an idea, a crazy, wonderful idea. "What if I made English part of everything I do?" she whispered. That day, Emma began a new challenge. She called it her Live in English Week. Her first rule? Every thought she had must be in English. So when she woke up, instead of thinking, "I need to brush my teeth," she told herself, "Time to brush my teeth." When she ate breakfast, she said, "This toast is crispy. The jam is sweet." It felt strange at first, like playing a game she didn't know all the rules to. But slowly, it became fun. Emma laughed at her own silly sentences. She even corrected herself out loud. At the supermarket, she imagined she was in an English-speaking country. She read every label: milk, butter, fresh apples. She listened to conversations and quietly translated them in her head. But the best part? She started talking to objects. Good morning, kettle. Boil fast, please. Notebook, you're my best friend today. Mirror, do I look ready to speak English? At first, her family raised their eyebrows. Are you okay, Emma? Her dad asked with a smile. Emma grinned. I'm practicing English. Everything is my teacher now. Then she added sticky notes around the house. On the door, open. Close. On the fridge, cold inside. On the window, look outside. Soon, even her little brother joined in, pointing at things and shouting their English names. Her room looked like an English museum. Words were everywhere. And so was motivation. That weekend, Emma found a new favorite hobby, talking walks. No, not just taking walks, talking walks. As she strolled through the park, she described everything out loud. A red bird. 2 dogs running. A couple sitting on a bench. The wind is cold. She felt like a reporter on an English news channel. One day, while walking, she passed by a tourist couple looking at a map. They looked confused. Emma stopped and smiled. Do you need help? The woman looked surprised. Oh yes. We're looking for the art gallery. Emma nodded. It's close. Walk straight, then turn left. You'll see a big white building. The man smiled. Thank you. Your English is really good. Emma's cheeks turned pink. Thank you. I'm learning. When she walked away, she felt like flying. Her talking walks were working. Her confidence was growing every day. That night, Emma sat at her desk and drew a big star at the top of her journal. Then she wrote, English is not just a language. It's part of my life now. She started watching videos with subtitles, first in English, then none at all. She tried to repeat what people said. She noticed how they moved their lips, how their voices changed when they were excited, sad, or joking. Emma was learning something new, intonation. I'm happy, she said with a big smile. I'm happy, she repeated with a sad voice. She played with her tone. She sang English words. She made silly voices. It wasn't just learning. It was playing with the language. Soon, Emma began a video diary. Every night before bed, she recorded herself speaking for 1 minute in English. At first, it was just, Hi, today I went to school. I ate pizza. But later, she talked about her feelings, her dreams, her questions. One night, she looked back at her first video. Her voice was quiet. Her words were slow. But now, she sounded confident, relaxed, like a real speaker. Emma smiled and whispered, I'm becoming who I always wanted to be. The next morning, something incredible happened. Her English teacher pulled her aside after class. Emma, I've been watching your progress, she said. Would you like to join the English storytelling contest next month? Emma blinked. Me? Really? Yes, her teacher nodded. You have a natural way of speaking. And you tell stories beautifully. Emma thought for a moment. Her heart beat fast. She remembered her first day, her fears, her small steps. She looked up and said, Yes. I'd love to. Because now, Emma wasn't just learning English. She was living it. And the adventure was far from over. Chapter 4. The Storytelling Stage, Emma's Big English Moment. The school auditorium was buzzing with energy. Chairs were set, microphones tested, and posters hung around the stage with colorful letters. Annual English Storytelling Contest, Speak, Share, Shine. Emma stood near the back, holding a small notepad in her shaking hands. She had written and rewritten her story 10 times. She had practiced in front of the mirror, with her cat, and even once while brushing her teeth. Now, the day had come. She glanced at the audience filling the seats. Her classmates were there. Teachers. Parents. Her little brother sat in the front row, waving at her excitedly. Emma took a deep breath and whispered to herself, "It's just a story. And I love stories." Earlier that week, when her teacher announced the contest theme, a lesson I learned, Emma knew exactly what to write about. She wouldn't tell a fairy tale or a made-up story. She would tell her story. The host called her name. Next, we welcome Emma. Applause filled the room. Emma walked to the stage, heart pounding, legs shaking. She looked out at the crowd. Her palms were sweaty. For a second, the words vanished from her mind. But then she looked down at her microphone. The same kind of microphone she used every week in her online English group. She smiled and began. "Hello. My name is Emma. And today, I want to tell you the story of a girl who couldn't speak English." She paused. People listened closely. This girl thought she wasn't smart enough. She thought her accent was bad. She thought every mistake was a failure. So she stayed quiet. Even when she wanted to speak, she didn't. Emma took a small breath and looked into the crowd. But one day, this girl made a choice. She didn't wait to be perfect. She started with one word. Then one sentence. She made mistakes. Many. But she kept going. Her voice grew stronger. She talked to her mirror. She talked to her dog. She talked to herself on walks, in shops, in her dreams. She watched videos, repeated sentences, joined speaking groups. And slowly, her words became her wings. The audience leaned in. That girl was me. And today, I am not afraid to speak. Not because I'm perfect, but because I practice. I grow. I try. She paused and smiled wide. So here's the lesson I learned: you don't need to speak like a native. You just need to speak like yourself. And when you speak with heart, people listen. Silence filled the room. Then, applause. Loud, real, warm applause. Emma's eyes sparkled. She stepped off the stage, heart full. Her teacher hugged her. Her classmates gave her high fives. Even students she didn't know said, "You were amazing." At home, her mom cried a little. "I'm so proud of you," she said. "Your voice is beautiful." That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She lay in bed thinking, not about the contest, but about what came next. What if I help others feel confident too? She thought. What if I create videos for students like me? The next morning, she started her first English video blog. Sitting by her window, she smiled into her phone camera. "Hi, friends. My name is Emma. I'm not a teacher. I'm just a girl who used to be afraid to speak. But now, I speak English every day. And you can too. Let's learn together. She uploaded it and titled it, Day 1, Speak with Me. Practice English easily. She didn't expect much. But within a week, she had 200 views. Comments poured in. You speak so clearly. Thanks, Emma. I'm learning with you. You made me feel brave. Emma replied to every message. And every day, she recorded a new video. Some days she taught simple words. Other days she just spoke about her life. School, rain, cookies, dreams. She called her little community the Speak with Emma Club. 1 month later, she was invited to join a podcast for English learners. The host asked her, Emma, what's your secret? How did you become so fluent? Emma laughed. My secret? Talk to yourself. Talk to your cat. Talk to your mirror. But most of all, never stop talking. Then she added, English is not something you study once a week. It's something you live every day. Even when no one is watching. That's how fluency grows, like a plant you water daily. The episode went viral. People started recognizing Emma at school. Her teacher shared her videos in class. Even parents thanked her for inspiring their kids. But Emma never forgot where she started. With one shaky sentence. One scary mic click. One little story. Now, she was helping hundreds. And soon, maybe thousands. Because once you find your voice, you help others find theirs too. And Emma? She had found hers. Chapter 5. New Horizons, Emma's English adventure goes global. Emma sat by her window, a warm cup of tea in her hands and her laptop open in front of her. It had been 3 months since she posted her first English-speaking video. What started as a simple idea had become something much bigger. Her channel had grown. Thousands of people now watched her daily videos. She had comments from Brazil, Egypt, Japan, Ukraine, and Nigeria. Emma, your videos give me hope. I finally spoke to my coworker in English today. Because of you, I joined an English club in my city. Emma read each one with a smile, and sometimes, with tears. She had started this journey alone. But now, she wasn't alone anymore. One morning, an email popped up with the subject. We want to interview you, Global Learners Live. It was from an international online program that featured young changemakers in education. Emma blinked at the screen. Is this real? She replied. The interview was set for the following week. They would ask her about her journey, her channel, and her message to English learners around the world. Emma felt nervous again, just like before her storytelling contest. But this time, something inside her had changed. She knew nerves were part of the process. She welcomed them. Before the big interview, Emma created a special video titled, My English Journey, and Yours Too. In it, she shared 5 simple tips. Make English part of your daily life, label things in your house, listen to music, read signs. Talk, even if it's to yourself, your voice matters. Learn phrases, not just words, real English lives in real sentences. Don't chase perfection, chase connection. Be kind to yourself, mistakes are your best teachers. Remember, she said at the end, fluency is not a race. It's a relationship with the language. Grow it gently. That video became her most popular one yet. When interview day arrived, Emma wore a simple blue shirt and tied her hair back. She sat straight and smiled into the camera. The host began, "Emma, thousands of people admire your journey. What would you tell someone who's afraid to speak English?" Emma paused, then said with quiet confidence, "I'd say, your voice is waiting. You don't need to be perfect to be heard. You just need to be brave for 1 minute. Speak. And then speak again. Every sentence is a step." The host nodded. "And what's next for you?" Emma's eyes lit up. "I want to travel one day. Meet the people who've joined me on this journey. Create a global speaking club. Maybe even write a book called Speak Like You. The chat was flooded with support. "Yes, Emma. Write the book. Come to Brazil. Start the speaking club, we'll join." After the interview, something incredible happened. Emma received a message from a non-profit in India. They ran free English programs for students in small villages. "Would you be our guest speaker next month?" they asked. "We show your videos in class. Our students love your energy." Emma agreed, heart full. When the day came, she joined the video call. Dozens of smiling students waved at her. One girl named Anaya stood up and said, "Emma, before your videos, I was scared to speak. But now, I speak with my teacher and friends. You are my inspiration." Emma's voice cracked with emotion. "You inspire me too, Anaya. Every time you speak, the world becomes brighter." From that day on, Emma made it her mission to help more schools, more learners, more voices. She created a free weekly online meeting called Emma's English Circle, where people from around the world practice together, slow, clear, fun. Just like her videos. She added subtitles in multiple languages, started sharing stories from other learners, and invited them to become co-hosts in her sessions. Her small room became a global classroom. One night, Emma sat on her bed, flipping through an old notebook. On the first page, years ago, she had written, "Goal: speak English fluently." She smiled and wrote below it, "New goal: help the world speak confidently." She looked out the window. Stars dotted the sky. Somewhere, someone was watching her video for the first time. Maybe they were nervous. Maybe they felt stuck. Emma whispered, "You've got this. Just one word at a time." And so, Emma's journey continued, not just learning English, but lifting voices everywhere. Because when one person finds courage to speak, it echoes across the world. Chapter 6: From Learner to Leader, Emma's English Dream Comes True. It had been a full year since Emma uploaded her very first English video. What started with shaky hands and quiet whispers had grown into something beautiful and bold. Her YouTube channel now had over 100,000 subscribers. Her weekly English circle had members from over 25 countries. And most surprisingly, she was invited to speak at an international language event called Voices Without Borders. Emma read the invitation 5 times. "We believe your story is a living example of how confidence, practice, and kindness can build global connections through English. We invite you to share your journey on stage." She sat in silence, the letter still in her hand. A stage. An international audience. People from around the world. Emma's heart beat faster, not from fear, but from purpose. She knew what she had to do. The event was in London. Emma had never traveled outside her country before. She packed her favorite notebook, her speaking notes, a small charm bracelet her brother gave her, and a voice full of hope. When she arrived at the conference hall, it felt like a dream. Banners hung from every wall with words like "Speak to Connect" and "Language Builds Bridges." There were booths with translators, teachers, learners, even AI English tools. Everyone spoke different languages, but smiles were the same everywhere. Emma walked through the hall. Some people recognized her. "Emma, I watch your videos with my daughter. You helped me pass my interview. Thanks to you, I now speak English at work." Emma hugged them all. It felt like her online world had come to life. On the second day, it was her turn to speak. The main hall was packed. Lights shone bright. Her name appeared on a large screen. Emma Rivera, from silent learner to global voice. She stepped onto the stage and took a deep breath. "Hello, everyone," she began. "1 year ago, I couldn't imagine standing here. I thought English was only for the smart ones, the confident ones, the perfect ones. I never thought it was for me." She looked around at the faces, all listening. "But I learned something powerful. English doesn't belong to one country or one group. It belongs to anyone who wants to speak, connect, and grow." She shared her journey, how she talked to herself, joined groups, made videos. How she failed, tried again, laughed, and cried. "But the biggest lesson," she said, "fluency is not about how many words you know. It's about how brave you are to use the words you do know." The crowd clapped softly. She continued, "Every time you speak, you grow stronger. Every mistake is a step forward. Every sentence is a success. Even hello is a victory when you were once afraid to say anything." Then she paused. Held up her bracelet. "My little brother gave me this and said, 'You're like a star, small but bright.' I believe that about all of us. We may feel small, but our voices can shine far. English is not just a language. It's a light. Let it shine through you." The crowd stood up. A standing ovation. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but this time, happy ones. After the speech, she was invited to join a global language panel. She talked with educators, authors, even ambassadors. She wasn't just a learner anymore. She was a leader. Later that evening, as she walked near the River Thames, her phone buzzed. A message from her first online speaking group popped up. "Emma, we watched your talk. We're so proud. You made us believe we can do it too." She replied, "You already are. Never stop speaking." Emma sat on a bench, looked up at the stars, and smiled. She wasn't chasing English anymore. She was living it. She had started with fear, grown with effort, and now led with heart. And the best part? She knew this was just the beginning. Because out there, in small rooms and big dreams, other learners were starting their journey. And Emma would be there, through her videos, her words, her courage, to whisper what they needed to hear. You can speak. You belong. Just start. Chapter 7. The spark grows. Emma empowers a new generation. Emma was back home. The stage in London, the applause, the lights, it all felt like a dream. But what stayed in her heart were the messages she kept receiving. A girl in Morocco wrote, "Emma, I started my own English club at school because of you." A boy from Thailand messaged, "I finally spoke during an online class. My teacher smiled. Thank you." Even a father in Mexico said, "I use your videos to learn with my son." We call it English Time with Emma. Emma realized something. She wasn't just teaching English anymore. She was awakening voices. But as more people joined her journey, Emma felt a new challenge rising. Many learners didn't know where to start. Some were too shy for video calls. Others lived in places with poor internet. Some had jobs and couldn't attend live sessions. Emma wanted to help them all. So, she opened her notebook and wrote, "New mission, create an app for everyone. Not just any app. An app with daily speaking prompts, guided pronunciation practice, story-based lessons, a safe, friendly chat group, offline features for slow internet. Emma's voice cheering you on." She called it Speak Spark, Light Up Your English. But Emma wasn't a tech expert. She didn't know coding or app design. At first, the task felt impossible. But then she remembered what she always said. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to start. So, she started. She posted online, looking for developers to build a language app with heart. The replies came fast. A university student from India offered to help with coding. A designer from Turkey volunteered to create colorful, friendly visuals. An educator from Kenya offered grammar tips based on her own classroom experience. Soon, Emma had a team. They met every week, shared ideas, tested versions, fixed bugs, and laughed through late-night calls. Emma recorded voice notes for the app, reading stories, and encouragement. She added real messages from learners as motivation. Things like, "Today I spoke with a stranger. I was nervous, but I did it." Or, "English used to scare me. Now it excites me." After 6 months of hard work, Speak Spark was ready. The day it launched, Emma held her breath. People downloaded it from over 40 countries in the first week. Learners loved the friendly interface. They smiled at Emma's encouraging voice. They completed challenges like describe your breakfast or tell a mini story in 3 sentences. One favorite feature was the whisper practice. You could quietly repeat Emma's voice anytime, anywhere, even while walking or riding the bus. And best of all, there was no judgment. No scores. Just growth. A user named Lila wrote, "Your app is like a friend. It doesn't pressure me. It just makes me feel brave." Emma cried when she read that. She realized the app wasn't about technology. It was about connection. She added a new section called Emma's Letters. Each week, she wrote a short message. It's okay to forget a word. Fluency is not fast. It's free. Speak with love, not fear. These became the most read part of the app. Months passed, and the community grew. Emma started getting invitations to schools, online summits, and even from city libraries. One day, a teacher from a refugee school in Poland called her and said, "We don't have many books. But now we have your app." Our students are speaking again. They feel seen. Emma looked at the screen. Children waved, smiling and shy. She smiled back and said, "You're all stars. Keep shining." That night, Emma went for a walk. She passed the park where she once read English aloud in secret. She sat on the same bench, pulled out her phone, and saw a new message. "Emma, my dream is to become an English teacher. Like you." Emma closed her eyes and whispered, "Yes. That's the dream." She had started as a learner. Now, she was lighting sparks around the world, one brave voice at a time. Chapter 8, Camp of Dreams, where stories come alive. It was a sunny spring morning when Emma received the email that made her heart skip a beat. Subject, Invitation to Lead, Global Storytelling English Camp in Finland. She read the message 3 times. The camp organizers had seen her videos and used her app. Now they were inviting her to teach at an international camp where kids from around the world would learn English through storytelling. Emma jumped from her chair, eyes wide. She loved stories. She loved kids. And she loved helping others speak. This was a dream come true. She packed her things, her lucky notebook, her charm bracelet, a few books, and a folder filled with activities like Make Your Story, Speak Like a Character, and Draw and Tell. 2 weeks later, Emma stood in the middle of a beautiful green camp in Finland, surrounded by pine trees and smiling children. The kids had come from 12 countries, from Brazil to Ukraine, Japan to Ghana. Some knew a little English. Others knew only hello and thank you. But all of them were excited. On the first day, Emma welcomed them with a big smile. "Hi, everyone. My name is Emma. I don't speak all your languages, but I do speak story. And by the end of this week, you will too." Some kids giggled. Others looked shy. But Emma knew how to help them feel safe. She pointed to her heart. "Stories come from here. And English is just a bridge. Ready to cross it?" They nodded. Each morning, they began with a fun warm-up. Whisper your name like a dragon. Describe the sky using only food words. Tell a 2-word tale. The kids laughed, relaxed, and forgot their fear of making mistakes. Emma used games, drawing, music, even sock puppets, to bring English alive. Soon, even the shyest kids started speaking. Lena from Germany shared, "Once, there was a rainbow dog who loved chocolate." A boy named Samuel from Kenya created a story about the flying shoe that saves the world. Emma clapped wildly after each tale. But one child stood apart. Her name was Aiko, from Japan. She didn't speak much. She always sat in the back, eyes down, hands folded. Emma tried gentle encouragement, but Aiko only nodded politely. One afternoon, the children were asked to draw their own story. Aiko drew a beautiful picture, a girl sitting alone on the moon, surrounded by stars, holding a tiny book. Emma sat beside her. "That's lovely," she whispered. "What's her name?" Aiko quietly replied, "Momo." Emma smiled. "Will Momo talk to us tomorrow?" Aiko looked unsure. But the next day, something magical happened. Aiko stood up, walked slowly to the front, and with trembling hands held her paper. she began, softly. Momo is lonely. But one day a shooting star tells her, speak, and the stars will listen. The room was silent. Every child was watching. Aiko continued, Momo says. Hello? The stars sparkle. Then Momo says, I'm here. And the stars shine bright. Not alone anymore. Tears filled Emma's eyes. The children clapped wildly. Emma walked up and hugged her. Aiko, you are a storyteller. Your English is a gift. From that day, Aiko became one of the loudest voices in the group. On the last night of camp, the children built a small stage using blankets and boxes. Each of them stood under the stars to share their final story, some silly, some brave, some sweet. Emma ended the night with her own tale. I once met a girl who was afraid to speak. She hid her English like a secret treasure. But one day, she opened her heart, and the whole world listened. That girl was me. The children clapped. Some hugged her tightly. One said, Emma, you taught us English, but also how to believe in ourselves. The next morning, as buses lined up, the camp was full of hugs and tears. Kids promised to keep speaking, to keep writing, to keep dreaming in English. Emma waved until the last bus disappeared into the trees. She sat down, opened her notebook, and wrote. Stories break silence. Stories build bridges. And in every story, someone finds their voice. She looked at the stars above the quiet camp and whispered. Thank you, English. You helped me find mine. Now, I'll help others find theirs. And just like that, Emma's journey wasn't ending, it was expanding, like a story with no final page. Chapter 9, The Global Circle, Students Become Teachers. Emma was home again, but her heart was still full of the voices from camp. She kept thinking about Aiko, Samuel, Lena, and all the kids who had once been afraid to speak, but now told stories in English with joy. She also kept receiving messages. Emma, I want to keep practicing like at camp. Can we meet again? Online maybe? I want to teach too. How can I help others like you helped me? Emma sat by her window one rainy evening, sipping tea, thinking deeply. Then, she smiled. A new idea was growing, clear and powerful. Not just a class. Not just an app. Not just a story. But a global circle. A place where learners teach learners. Where beginners help each other. Where advanced students support those just starting. Where no one feels alone. Emma grabbed her notebook and wrote. New dream, create the world's first learner-led English school. She called it the Fluent Circle. The motto? We speak. We share. We grow together. She started building it step by step. First, she created small speaking rooms online. Zoom and video chat spaces where learners could gather to practice. She paired beginners with more fluent speakers. But there were no teachers, no grades, no tests. Just friendly chats. Real stories. Honest conversations. She also created something unique, Teach One, Learn One. Each learner would share one small thing they knew, a word, a tip, a game, and then learn one thing from someone else. Even beginners could say, "This is how I remember because." I say, Big elephants can always understand small elephants. Emma laughed when she first heard that, and she added it to the website. More features grew. Daily Story Circle, one person tells a story, and others build on it. Accent Adventure, learners mimic each other's accents just for fun and confidence. Fear-Free Zone, a space to share mistakes and what they taught you. The Fluent Circle exploded in popularity. People from over 70 countries joined. They didn't need perfect English, they just needed courage and curiosity. Emma watched the magic unfold. A woman from Egypt shared a bedtime story with a girl in Portugal. A boy in South Korea taught slang to a man in Brazil. A grandmother in Canada helped a teenager from Vietnam pronounce th. One day, Emma joined a chat and just listened. The group didn't know she was there. They were laughing, correcting each other gently, asking questions, telling stories. It was beautiful. Emma smiled and whispered, "They don't need me anymore." They've become each other's teachers. But her journey wasn't over. She began writing a book called Find Your English Voice, My Journey from Silence to Stories. In the book, she shared how learning English changed her life, and how sharing English changed others. She didn't just talk about grammar or vocabulary. She wrote about fear, about joy, about mistakes and magic. One chapter was called Your Accent is a Map of Your Journey. Another, Say It Wrong, but Say It Anyway. Her readers said the book felt like a warm hug. She also started a podcast, where members of the Fluent Circle came to share their stories. Emma didn't speak much in those episodes. She listened. She smiled. And every episode ended with her gentle voice saying, "Speak bravely. Someone needs your words today." Soon, other circles started forming, French circles, Spanish circles, Arabic circles, all inspired by Emma's model. She had started a movement. One day, during a global online meeting, a young boy raised his hand and said, "Emma, when I grow up, I want to make a circle too. Maybe for kids who don't even know the alphabet yet." Emma smiled through tears and replied, "You already started. Every word you speak is a seed." That night, Emma walked in her garden under the stars. She remembered how afraid she once was to speak. How heavy her tongue felt. How lonely she felt in her learning. Now, she had helped create thousands of voices, millions of words, endless bridges. She touched the petals of a blooming flower and whispered, "Fluency isn't speaking fast. It's speaking from the heart." And with that, her circle kept growing, quietly, gently, beautifully, just like Emma. Chapter 10, A Voice at the United Nations. The invitation came on a crisp autumn morning. A white envelope with golden letters sat in Emma's mailbox. It read, United Nations Global Language and Education Forum, Keynote Invitation. Emma's breath caught. She opened it with trembling fingers. Inside was a simple message. "We would be honored if you would share your story. Not just your journey, but the voices you've helped raise. The world is listening." Emma closed her eyes. From a shy girl who once avoided saying hello, to standing before the leaders of the world, it felt unreal. But deep inside, she knew this wasn't just about her. It was about everyone who ever whispered in English when they wanted to shout. About the millions of learners who needed someone to believe in them. She would speak for them. She would bring their voices to the global stage. Weeks passed quickly. Emma prepared not with fancy slides or complex vocabulary, but with something better. A story. Not hers, but one from the Fluent Circle. A story from a 6-year-old girl in Ukraine named Mira, who joined Emma's online school from a quiet village. Mira barely spoke at first. But over time, she grew more confident. One day she told a story in English that made everyone cry. It was about a tiny bird with no song. The bird wanted to sing but was scared. The other birds laughed. But then, one stormy night, the wind whispered, "Try anyway." The bird opened its beak, and a soft tune came out. And all the trees listened. Emma chose to share that story at the United Nations. The big day arrived. Delegates from over 190 countries filled the Grand Hall. World leaders, educators, scientists, and journalists, all waiting. Emma stood on the massive stage. She looked small. But she didn't feel small. She smiled and began. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who was afraid to speak. That girl was me. But I want to tell you about another little girl. Her name is Mira. And then, in slow, clear English, Emma told Myra's bird story. Not with slides. Not with statistics. But with heart. She paused at the end. The room was still. Then, soft claps began, followed by standing applause. A woman from Sweden whispered to her colleague, "She made me cry and want to learn English again." The president of a large country said aloud, "That story said more than 10 reports ever could." After her talk, dozens of delegates approached Emma. "Can we bring the Fluent Circle to our schools? Can your students share stories in our classrooms? How do we help more people learn without fear?" Emma answered each one patiently. Then she said something that made them think. "We don't need more tests. We need more trust. Trust in people's stories. Trust in their voices." She was later asked to sit on the Language and Peace Committee, an honor she never expected. But her proudest moment came a week later, when she received a video message from Mira. In the video, Mira stood outside her house, holding her storybook. She said, in her sweet voice, "Emma, my bird flew very high. Now I want to help other birds sing too." Emma smiled, tears in her eyes. She replied with her own video. "Mira, your voice flew to the United Nations. Keep speaking. The world is listening." That night, Emma sat by her window. She looked up at the stars and thought about the journey. She remembered the fear. The first mistake. The first sentence. The first time someone clapped for her. She thought of all the learners still afraid. And she made a promise. "No matter how far I go, I'll always come back to help someone else begin." She picked up her notebook and wrote the last line of her speech. Language is not just about words. It's about courage. And as the lights of the city blinked below, Emma whispered, "Thank you, English. You gave me wings. Now I give them to others." Chapter 11, Passing the Torch, Training New Leaders. Emma stepped off the plane, back in her hometown, feeling a new kind of excitement. Her heart was full, not just from speaking at the United Nations, but from the responsibility she now carried. The Fluent Circle was no longer just her dream. It was a movement. A global family of learners who believed in each other. But to grow, it needed many hands. Many voices. Emma knew she couldn't do it alone. So she began her next chapter, training new leaders. Her first training camp was in a bright, cozy room filled with young people from all over the country. Some were teachers, some were students, some had never taught before. Emma smiled at their nervous faces. She said, "You don't need to be perfect. You just need to believe in the power of stories." She taught them the heart of the Fluent Circle. How to create a safe, friendly space. How to listen with kindness. How to help others feel brave. They practiced speaking slowly, encouraging gently, and sharing mistakes as stepping stones. Emma watched as their confidence grew day by day. The new leaders shared their own stories of learning English, the struggles, the funny moments, the small victories. One young man said, "I was too shy to order coffee in English. Now I help others order in English." Another woman laughed and said, "I still mix up she and he, but that's okay. We learn together." Emma loved hearing their voices. She realized that every leader had a special spark, a story that could inspire. She encouraged them. "Your stories will light the way for others." Then, she helped them set up their own Fluent Circles, in their schools, neighborhoods, and even online. Within weeks, Emma received messages from her new leaders. "We held our first meeting. It was scary but wonderful. Our group laughed a lot and learned a lot. Thank you, Emma. You showed us how to start." Emma felt proud but knew this was just the beginning. Her vision was bigger now. She imagined a world where every city, every village, every home had a little Fluent Circle. Where speaking English wasn't about tests or grades, but about connection, courage, and community. One evening, Emma sat in her garden, surrounded by notes and plans. She picked up her phone and typed a message to all her leaders worldwide. "Remember, you are not just teachers. You are gardeners of voices. Plant kindness. Water courage. Watch confidence bloom." The replies came quickly, filled with gratitude and promise. Emma smiled. Her dream was no longer hers alone. It belonged to thousands. Thousands who would pass it on. And as the stars twinkled above, Emma whispered softly, "This is how we change the world, one story at a time." Chapter 12. The Challenge That United Us. Just as Emma's Fluent Circle movement was growing, an unexpected challenge appeared. It started with a message from a young leader in a small town far away. She wrote, "Emma, some people in our community say learning English is useless. They say it's too hard, or only for rich kids. Some even want to stop our meetings." Emma felt a heavy weight in her chest. She knew that fear and doubt were old enemies of learning. But she also knew that this moment could either break them or make them stronger. She replied quickly, "Let's turn this challenge into a chance to show our true strength." Emma called a global meeting with all the Fluent Circle leaders. They gathered online, faces glowing in little squares on the screen. Emma began. "We face doubts, but also a powerful opportunity to prove that English is for everyone. Not just for tests or jobs, but for dreams, friendships, and freedom." Leaders shared their stories. One said, In my village, people thought English was a secret language. We invited the community to join our next meeting, no pressure, just fun. Another added. We organized a festival with music, food, and stories in English and our native language. Everyone came, curious and happy. Emma smiled wide. They planned a Celebrate Voices event, open to all ages and levels. On the big day, the room was filled with laughter and music. People who once doubted stood on stage to share simple sentences, poems, and songs in English. One elderly man read a short story about his childhood. A group of teenagers performed a skit about friendship. The community saw that English wasn't scary. It was a bridge. Emma watched from afar, tears shining in her eyes. She realized that the Fluent Circle was not just about language. It was about building trust. Trust in each other. Trust in the power of stories. The challenge that once seemed like a wall became a door. A door opening to new friendships and understanding. Emma's phone buzzed with messages from leaders worldwide. Our event was a success. The doubters smiled. People thanked us for making learning fun and welcoming. We are stronger together. Emma typed a message back. Remember, every voice matters. Every story is a step forward. We don't just learn English, we learn to believe. That night, Emma looked out at the sky. She thought about how far they had come. And she whispered, challenges are the heartbeats of change. Together, we will keep beating strong. Chapter 13, The International Summit and a Promise for the Future. The news spread quickly. Emma and her Fluent Circle leaders had been invited to speak at an international education summit. Delegates from all over the world would gather to discuss the future of language learning. Emma felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. She remembered when she first struggled to say even a few words. Now, she was standing at the edge of something huge. The day arrived. Emma and 5 new Fluent Circle leaders from different countries took their seats on a large stage. The room was full of experts, teachers, and government officials. Emma opened the session with a calm, clear voice. Learning a language is more than grammar and vocabulary. It's about connection. It's about hope. It's about opening doors, sometimes doors we thought were locked forever. She introduced her new leaders, each sharing a quick story from their country. A young teacher from Brazil who used music and dance to help kids speak English. A student from Kenya who started a reading club for her village. A grandmother from Japan who learned English to talk to her grandchildren abroad. The audience listened, captivated by the real-life stories. Emma then shared the biggest lesson she had learned. Language belongs to everyone. It is a right, not a privilege. We must create spaces where all voices can be heard without fear. The summit organizers asked Emma and her leaders to draft a promise, a pledge to make English learning accessible and welcoming everywhere. Together, they wrote, "We promise to build communities of kindness, patience, and courage. We promise to listen more than we speak. We promise to celebrate every small step forward." The room erupted in applause. Later, Emma was invited to meet with international leaders. One said, "Your Fluent Circles are a model for education worldwide. We want to support you." Emma felt a wave of hope. She knew this was just the beginning of a new chapter. On the flight home, Emma reflected. From shy beginnings to global gatherings. From whispered words to loud applause. Her journey had taught her one truth. Learning English is learning to believe in yourself and in others. As the plane touched down, Emma smiled and pulled out her notebook. She wrote one last line for the day. Together, we speak. Together, we rise. Chapter 14, Launching the Global Fluent Circle Platform. Emma sat at her desk, eyes sparkling with excitement and a hint of nervousness. After months of planning, coding, and testing, the Fluent Circle online platform was finally ready. This platform was more than just a website. It was a digital home for every learner, leader, and supporter of the Fluent Circle movement. Emma imagined a place where anyone, anywhere could join a group, practice English, share stories, and feel connected, all from their phone or computer. She clicked the launch button. A message popped up, "Your platform is live." Within hours, messages flooded in from every corner of the world. From a small village in India, a teacher wrote, "Our students joined the platform today. They are so excited." From a college student in Canada, "I found a study buddy from Brazil. We help each other every day." Emma smiled at the thought of people speaking, laughing, and learning together through a screen. The platform had many features. Live video chat rooms for group practice. A library of stories and lessons created by Fluent Circle members. A forum to ask questions and get support. Special challenges and games to make learning fun. Emma held her first online event on the platform. She welcomed learners from over 30 countries. Her voice was calm and warm as she said, "Welcome, everyone. This is your space to try, to make mistakes, and to grow. Remember, fluency is a journey, not a race." For 2 hours, they practiced speaking together, shared personal stories, and celebrated progress. One learner from Egypt said, "I was scared to speak English for years. But today, I said a full sentence without stopping." The room filled with cheers and encouragement. Emma realized that the platform was breaking down barriers, no matter the distance, no matter the time zone. People who felt alone in their language journey now felt part of a global family. At the end of the event, Emma thanked everyone. "Your courage inspires me. Together, we make learning English easier and more joyful." As the screen dimmed, Emma felt a deep sense of gratitude. From a shy girl who once whispered in English, to a leader connecting thousands worldwide. Her dream was alive, growing, and shining brighter than ever. She whispered softly, "This is just the beginning. The best is yet to come." Chapter 15, The Platform Crisis and the Power of Community. Emma was proud of the Global Fluent Circle platform. Learners from all over the world were connecting, sharing, and growing their English skills every day. But one afternoon, her phone buzzed with urgent messages. The platform was down. No one could log in. For hours, Emma and her small tech team worked non-stop. They found the problem, a server overload caused by the huge number of users trying to join a special event. Emma felt her heart race. What if people got frustrated and left? What if the movement lost its momentum? But then, messages started coming in from the community. "We're still here. Don't worry, Emma. We believe in this, take your time. The Fluent Circle is more than a platform. It's us." These words lifted Emma's spirits. She sent a message back to the community. Thank you for your patience and support. We are fixing things and will be back stronger than ever. Meanwhile, leaders from different countries organized offline gatherings. They kept the spirit alive by meeting in parks, cafes, and community centers. Emma realized that the true strength of Fluent Circle was its people. Technology was just a tool. The heart of the movement was the courage to keep learning together. After 2 days, the platform was restored. To celebrate, Emma hosted a live event where members shared stories of how Fluent Circle had changed their lives. A teenager from Mexico said, "Before, I was too shy to speak English. Now, I'm confident in making friends worldwide." An older man from South Africa added, "I started learning English to help my grandchildren. Fluent Circle made it possible." Emma smiled, feeling more determined than ever. She understood a deep truth. No matter what challenges come, community and kindness will carry us through. She closed the event with a promise. We will keep building this space for everyone. Together, we learn, we grow, and we succeed. And with that, Emma's dream kept shining bright, lighting the path for millions to speak English easily and fluently. Chapter 16, The Global Storytelling Festival, Voices Across the World. Emma's Fluent Circle platform had become a vibrant community where learners connected, practiced, and supported each other. To celebrate this growing family, Emma dreamed of creating something special, a global storytelling festival. She imagined people from every country sharing stories in English, breaking down barriers with their voices. Emma announced the festival on the platform. This is your moment to shine. Share your stories, your culture, your dreams. Together, we'll show the world the power of language and connection. Entries poured in from all over the globe. From the snowy mountains of Canada, a young boy shared a story about his first snowman. In India, a grandmother told a tale about her childhood festivals. A teenager from Nigeria narrated a story about hope and friendship. The festival wasn't just about perfect English, it was about expression and courage. Emma watched video submissions, amazed by the creativity and heart in every word. She set up live sessions where finalists told their stories to a global audience. During the grand finale, Emma spoke. Today, we celebrate every voice here. Learning English is learning to share who we are. Your stories matter. The winner was a shy girl from Vietnam who spoke about overcoming fear and finding her voice through Fluent Circle. As applause filled the virtual room, Emma felt tears of joy. The festival had become more than an event, it was a movement. A movement proving that English is not just a language of words but a language of hearts. Emma's journey had inspired thousands. And as the festival closed, she knew their story was just beginning. Keep speaking, keep dreaming, Emma whispered. Together, we make the world smaller and kinder. Chapter 17, Emma's Personal Challenge, Finding Strength in Vulnerability. Emma had come a long way from the shy girl who once struggled with English. She had built a global community, inspired thousands, and found her own confident voice. But life, as always, brought unexpected challenges. One day, Emma received news that shook her deeply. Her grandmother, the woman who had always encouraged her, was seriously ill. Emma felt a wave of fear and sadness. Her English practice became harder. Words tangled in her mind. Speaking in front of her community felt overwhelming. She wondered if she could keep going. But then, she remembered something her grandmother had once told her. Courage is not the absence of fear, Emma. It is moving forward despite fear. Emma decided to be honest with her fluent circle. She shared her story, her feelings, and her fears in a live session. The community responded with love and support. Messages poured in. We're here for you. Take your time, you're not alone. Your strength inspires us all. Emma realized vulnerability was a kind of strength. It brought people closer. It made her story real. Slowly, Emma found her voice again. She practiced speaking about her feelings, learning new words to express her heart. Her English grew deeper, not just fluent, but meaningful. One evening, Emma spoke softly during a session. Thank you for walking this journey with me. Learning English is about more than words. It's about sharing who we are. Her community cheered. Emma felt a warm glow inside. She knew that true fluency was not perfect grammar or fast speech. It was courage, connection, and heart. And with that, Emma's journey continued, stronger and more beautiful than ever. Chapter 18: Giving Back, Emma's charity event for English learners. Emma's journey had taught her many lessons about courage, community, and the power of connection. Now, she wanted to give back. She decided to organize a charity event to support English learners who could not afford classes or technology. Emma called it Speak and Share, a day full of free workshops, storytelling, and friendship. She reached out to Fluent Circle members, local teachers, and volunteers. The response was amazing. People from different countries offered their time and skills. On the day of the event, Emma felt nervous but excited. She opened with warm words. Today is about all of us learning, sharing, and helping each other grow. English is for everyone, and together, we can make that happen. Workshops taught useful everyday English, pronunciation tips, and confidence-building exercises. Volunteers helped set up computer stations for those without devices. The event brought smiles, laughter, and new friendships. A young woman named Sophia shared her story. I never thought I could learn English. Today, I feel hopeful and ready to try. Emma saw the impact of kindness and community. As the sun set, she reflected. This is what Fluent Circle truly means. A place where learning meets love. Her heart was full. She knew the journey of learning English was ongoing, but now it was shared by many hands and hearts. Emma whispered softly. Together, we rise, speaking, sharing, and dreaming. Chapter 19: Exploring New Technologies, Emma's Vision for the Future. After the success of her charity event, Emma was more motivated than ever. She knew that technology could open even more doors for English learners around the world. One evening, she sat at her desk, scrolling through articles about new language learning tools. She discovered exciting things: the apps with speech recognition, virtual reality experiences, and AI tutors that could help practice speaking anytime. Emma imagined a future where Fluent Circle could use these tools to make learning easier and more fun. She contacted some tech experts and invited them to collaborate. Together, they dreamed up new ideas. Virtual meetups where learners could practice in 3D environments, interactive games to build vocabulary, and personalized feedback powered by AI. Emma's vision was clear. Learning English should be a joyful adventure for everyone, no matter where they live. The community loved the idea. They eagerly tried new features as they were launched. Emma received messages from learners saying, "I can practice speaking anytime, anywhere. The games make learning feel like fun, not work. I'm more confident than ever." Emma felt proud but also humble. She knew technology was just a tool. It was the community, the connection, and the courage of learners that truly made Fluent Circle special. Her journey was far from over. But with every new step, Emma was building a brighter future for millions who dreamed of speaking English easily and fluently. Chapter 20: Emma's Reflection, A Journey of Heart and Words. Emma sat quietly in her favorite spot by the window, watching the sunset paint the sky with warm colors. It was a moment to reflect on everything that had happened. From the shy girl struggling with simple sentences to the leader of a global community, Emma's journey had been full of challenges and triumphs. She thought about the people she had met, the learners who inspired her every day. She remembered the nights of doubt and the days of joy. And she realized something important. Learning English was never just about grammar or vocabulary. It was about connection, about courage, about the stories we share and the bridges we build. Emma picked up her notebook and wrote a message to her community. Dear friends, thank you for walking this path with me. Every step, every word, every mistake, and every success has shaped us. Keep believing in yourself, keep speaking your truth, and never stop dreaming. English is not just a language. It's a key to new worlds, new friendships, and new possibilities. Together, we have created something beautiful, a family united by the desire to learn and grow. Let's continue this journey, hand in hand, heart to heart. She smiled softly, knowing that this was just the beginning. Emma's story was a shining example of what anyone could achieve with patience, passion, and community. And as the stars appeared one by one in the darkening sky, she whispered to herself, "Speak with courage. Learn with joy. Live your story." With that, Emma closed her notebook and looked forward to all the new adventures ahead. Thank you for joining Emma's incredible journey to learn English easily and fluently. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss new videos. Share your own English learning story or favorite part of Emma's journey in the comments below. We love hearing from you. Remember, every step you take brings you closer to speaking English with confidence. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and keep dreaming big. See you in the next story. Until then, keep speaking, keep learning, and keep shining.